All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun. Thank you all for making the time and spending it with me here today. So, I always like to start the episodes by asking if you're getting any value of this, if you've learned something, if you've laughed, please share this with a friend, right? The only way that we grow is that you share the show, whether you text it to them, you tell them about it, you post it on social media, and then maybe they get some benefit from this. So, if what I'm sharing today or in the past episodes has rung a bell, has brought a light bulb moment, please share it with somebody. I would be grateful for that opportunity. And again, I'm grateful for you guys just spending this time with me today. And today I wanted to point out that it's officially summer, right? We are in the hotter months, right? We've worked so hard all year long to get here with our health and our fitness, right? I know a lot of folks, they grind all winter long, right? You're doing your diets, you're hitting the gym hard, and now you can finally go on your vacations. You can spend time with friends, doing events, parties, whatnot, and that's great. I want to start by saying I think you should work hard, but all year long, right? It's not about just fitting into the swimsuit and then, chalking it up for another summer and then restarting back when it's cold out. Like you should be, changing these things into a lifestyle so that it's not so yo-yo and up and down. But that will be a podcast for another day. Today, what I want to talk about is something that is hindering your results. It is looked at in a certain way in society. And I'm not here to cause any arguments or anything like that. I'm not here to spit off scientific facts. I'm just here to put my opinion on alcohol, right? Because especially in the summertime when there's, you go down the beach, you go on vacation, you have parties, graduation parties, there are all these events where we are having alcohol, right? You're going to a baseball game. And every one of these events, it's like alcohol is the number one thing that we go to, and we don't even blink twice about it. And I want to let you know that it's one of the biggest contributors to negatively impact your results, right? All the hard work that you do, all of the macro counting or getting organic food or getting sleep and going to the gym, right? Alcohol is one of those things where it is going to impact all of those results in a snap of a finger, right? And that's not fair to you, right? You work so hard, you spend so much time, effort, money, and learning about, fitness, lifestyle, and what you're trying to achieve to then go blow it away, right? For what? Right? And again, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I just want to share my thoughts on things. And the first thing that I wanted to bring up was the social aspect of alcohol, right? Before we get into how it affects your results and things like that. It's just funny, right? When you think about it, we go to, let's say you go to a baseball game, right? There's cans of beer everywhere. Like everyone is drinking. You go to a birthday party, champagne, toast, graduation party, there's alcohol. Like every event, everything, every gathering that you can think of with people, there is alcohol associated with it. Not only that, it is like it's the main attraction. It's like, what are we drinking today? What are we going to drink for this event? It's like there always has to be a drink. It just depends on where you're at, what type of drink you're having. And that I never understood. Well, now I kind of understand it. But back in the day, it's like, why are we drinking so much? And I'm not here to compare alcohol to some harder drugs out there, but let's say smoking weed, right? Why is alcohol just free range for all adults? But then if someone wanted to smoke some weed, that's well, now it's legal, but before it was illegal and so like looked down upon. But all of the negative effects from alcohol are just kind of like they're great. Like we can do that. That's cool. That's fine. So it's just funny to me, and maybe this will open up a thought pattern for you to realize like, hey, like alcohol really is glorified and used in every circumstance that we have as adults, right? And the other thing that I wanted to point out about the social aspect of it is we don't want our children and pregnant women to drink it, but it's okay every other scenario, right? Like if a pregnant woman goes out to dinner, she can say, no, thank you. I don't want to drink. I'll just have water, right? And they're like, okay, great. But if you went with your friends, out to dinner and you're a guy or a female who's not pregnant, and you said, you know what, I'll just have water, everyone's going to look at you like, what do you mean? You don't want to drink? Come on, let's have a drink. Or, it's someone's birthday and you guys are going out and you're like, you know what? I'm all right. I'm not going to drink tonight. If you were pregnant, they'd be like, oh no, no one bother her. She can't drink. But if you said you didn't want to, you'd get, quote unquote made fun of, or just someone would bring it up and it would just be unnecessary to harass you and say, why aren't you drinking? You're no fun. And all of the other phrases that come out of that topic, right? So I just think it's funny how we view alcohol, and we put it on such a pedestal as this amazing thing, when in reality, if you do the research, if you get the doctor's studies, and there's a million studies out there of how negative alcohol is for your brain function, for your organs, for your sleep, for all that stuff. And we'll get into pros and cons in a little bit, but I just wanted to bring the point of the social construct of how alcohol is everywhere. It's on billboards, it's on trucks, but yet when it comes to our children, we don't want them drinking it because we don't want the alcohol to affect their growth and their health overall. But why is it okay for an adult? Well, really, it's not. And if you analyze, number one, how you feel, and if you did some tests, blood tests, and looked up studies, it is really not helping you whatsoever. So it is just funny how we look at things, and we just go along with the status quo. Oh, society put it out there that it should be celebrated, so you don't even blink twice or think about it. We're just going along with it, and it is what it is. We drink alcohol, and that's how we should be. This reminds me of, like, with stomach problems, right? I grew up and my mom would sleep on the couch a lot because she had acid reflux and things of that nature. And, I started to experience it because we'd eat, breads or red sauce or things like that caused it. And she would tell me, Sean, it's hereditary. It's in our family that we deal with this problem. It's like I suffer from not getting good sleep because of my stomach, and that's just our family. That's kind of like alcohol, right? No, it's not in our family. The having indigestion and those things is not. That's just simply what we're consuming the wrong things, and maybe we need to tweak a few habits. Same thing with alcohol, right? You don't just have to drink alcohol just because you're 21. You don't just have to drink alcohol because you're at a party or at the beach or somewhere, right? I mean, it even got to the point where I won't get into details, and I don't know this person, but I was in line somewhere and I heard someone on their cell phone, and they're on the phone with a buddy, it sounded like, and he's like, "Yeah, man, we were up until 3 a.m., 3:30. We were drinking, we were so drunk, and I had like 4 tequila shots, and like kind of glorifying how much he drank. And then he's like, we woke up at 7:30, we went to work, and then right afterwards we started drinking again. And it's like, why are we celebrating how much alcohol we drank? Like, since when is that like a noble act, or like an achievement award where like you should receive a medal or something because of how much you partied? I don't know. Again, I'm not here to ruffle any feathers or to create an argument. It's just, when did we go so backwards, right? Our goal in life is to feel good and to live blissfully and to experience all that this life has to offer. And really what we're doing is dimming that down by using alcohol as much as we do. So I wrote down just a very, very short pros and cons list when it comes to like alcohol, right? And we'll get back to the point of your fitness and your health, but I just wanted to point out the social construct because that's something that always confused me, right? The pros, some of them taste good, but if we're being real, not that many, right? Like people will say, oh, well, you never had a good scotch or bourbon. I bet you that a Coca-Cola or some iced tea or lemonade tastes way better than any scotch, bourbon, vodka drink that you could make out there. 100%, right? And if you are over 21 and you've seen friends at a party when you were younger take a shot and you have to do that wincing face, and good, and then chase it with something, that's really not something that's enjoyable, right? So some may taste good, but not really, not better than some other drinks that are non-alcoholic. And then another pro is, you know what, maybe you're an introverted person and you're really looking to meet someone out there. It might give you that liquid courage that you need to go have a conversation with somebody. But I promise you, if you are crushing it in the gym, you're looking good, you're feeling good, you're taking care of your health, there is nothing that boosts your confidence more than knowing that you are who you say you are working really hard at your goals and becoming a better human. And it might be awkward at first, but good things are going to take that, right? It's going to have to take that leap of faith to go have confidence in yourself and have a conversation with that girl or guy. But I promise you there's going to be more confidence coming from a healthy, fit body than there will be from taking a few shots, because that doesn't lead you down the right path anyway. Some cons, right, towards your physical health and your results. It impacts your sleep tremendously. It doesn't allow you to get into deep REM sleep. So that means you might be unconscious for those couple hours, but you're not really getting into deep sleep and not recovering, because that's when all the magic happens, is when you're sleeping, guys. That's when we burn fat. That's when we give our brain a spin cycle and flush that out. That's when your organs give a detox. Like, that's when all that stuff happens. Cons, right? You can lead to liver or heart disease. That's more long term, but if you're doing it excessively over a long period of time, those things happen. There's tons of carbs and sugar in it, right? Anyone who is on a fitness journey knows that you have to limit how much sugar you're consuming, right? It turns into fat, it turns into diseases and cancers. And if it's in alcohol and you're drinking in excess of it, that's going to happen. Added calories, right? I can speak from experience. Like when I was younger, if you're crushing beers for whatever reason, it made me hungry. So not only am I adding calories by drinking the beers, then I'm having 2, 3 slices of pizza afterwards, and then it just all goes downhill. But added calories, right? Usually liquid, whether it be a soda, a can of beer, a drink, even things like your condiments that are like more liquidy. They don't really add to your satiety. Like, they don't make you full necessarily. So you're eating a meal plus you're having the calories from the drink. So we don't want that. So if you're having a cocktail or a couple beers with your dinner, it's essentially like you're eating 2 dinners. And now we're just swimming upstream, and we wonder why we're not able to make the progress that we want. Well, it's because if we did the breakdown of how many calories and how much sugar and how many carbs we're consuming, it's going to be in excess from what we need to succeed. It slows down your metabolism, right? We all know that a faster metabolism burns through the food, burns through the calories at a higher rate. A slower metabolism does not. So now, not only are you eating more calories, you're slowing your metabolism and your rate down, and that's a double whammy. Now we're eating more calories and our body's not burning it as fast. So that kind of stinks. And then another one is just it inhibits your digestion, right? When your body breaks down the food, it sources the minerals, the vitamins, the things that it needs to thrive, and sends that to the cells. Well, if we're not able to do that at a high rate, then you could be eating food and you're still not getting the proper amount of nutrients out of those things. And guys, when I tell you there is a laundry list more than this that I didn't want to get into because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm just trying to bring some of this stuff to our awareness. It's it's kind of silly, right? And I'm not telling you have to go cold turkey and never drink alcohol ever again. I have a cocktail once in a while, but I used to be someone who I would drink every weekend. It wasn't if we were drinking, it was where and how much and when, right? It's like Friday night comes, what bar are we going to? Whose house are we going to? What do you want to get? Should we get beer? Should we get a bottle? Should we, like, there was never a question of if. It was when, where, how much, and with who, right? Always drinking Saturday, Friday, and maybe even Sunday during the day if there was some sports on. And you can see how that can add up. It's like you're crushing it in the gym, you're doing good, you're eating good. And then on the weekend comes, it's like beers galore, shots galore, bad sleep galore, eating burgers and fries because we're drunk. And it's like, how are we ever supposed to make any progress if that's what our life looks like week in, week out? Make a little progress, boom, kill the momentum. It's like you can't, it won't happen. It just will not happen. So again, I don't want to banter on and be the alcohol police, but I just maybe make a step, right? Maybe you're like, I'm someone who drinks 4 nights a week. Try to drink three. Or you're like, hey, I drink 4 beers at a time. Try to drink 3 beers instead of four, right? Make a conscious effort to limit or lower how much alcohol you're consuming and take notice of it, right? I'm not telling you need to go to the doctor and get labs drawn, but man, like when you take a night off of drinking, you're going to sleep so much better. Then you wake up and you feel refreshed instead of being all banged up and hungover. And I'm telling you, hangovers, they just get worse and worse. Like the older you are, the more time it takes you to recover from a hangover. Haven't had one and I can't tell you how long, but I just know from talking to people and if I ever do drink, just how much it affects me. So make a conscious effort to do a little bit less and then acknowledge how you feel. That's how we create the thought patterns and the habits and we stack them, right? Because you're associating something with it. You're like, wow, I slept great. My stomach doesn't hurt. I have high energy today because I didn't drink last night at the party. Boom, you're making the association and now we can relay that habit with what we did. Right now it's not just mindlessly doing something like, oh, that guy told me not to drink, and I didn't notice anything, so I'm just going to drink again. Well, when we could say, man, like my stomach used to always hurt the next day, and now it doesn't. Well, that might be because of what we were drinking. So we can tie those associations together and start making steps for the right direction. And not only for burning fat and looking great and having a six pack, like that stuff's great. But man, like having energy, having lust for life, um, having a healthy gut. Like I haven't had like indigestion or things like that in a long time. And it's a completely higher quality of life. Like I used to go through life with indigestion and things like that all the time. And I just, whatever, pop a Tums, do something. And that's not cool, right? You don't want to live life like that, putting Tums in there and taking all types of drugs and not getting sleep and dealing with that. Like that is no fun. You know what is fun? Having energy, feeling good, being happy, not having gut problems, and just and living your life, not being controlled by those outside substances. So I'm gonna leave you with this, guys. If you learned something today, if this made sense to you, even if you don't share it, take that next step, do something about it today, right? It doesn't have to be a huge cold turkey effort, but do something today. Let's work to make our lives a little bit better, live more blissfully, and pursue our potential. Guys, so until next week, hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you then.